Good night. Good night. Good night. It's certainly a pleasure to be here with you tonight and to talk to you. It is certainly an honor, and I would just like to ask you to come inside. You still have some seats on the inside. I know it's going to be warm, but in the night, it's nice and cool inside. For those of you on the outside, let me just welcome those of you that are listening through Q95. It's good to have you. And of course, those of you that are viewing online, it's also very good to be able to reach out to you tonight. And of course, a very special welcome to all of you who are here with us. It is indeed an honor. Ron, thank you very much for the introduction. You've served this community extremely well over the years, and you continue to do so. That is commitment to country, and we must honor people like Ron and the sacrifice and service that they continue to give to this beautiful country of ours. It's good to be here tonight. Lapland is a very wonderful community. Lapland has a special place in my own history because many years ago, as a 10-year-old boy, I started to walk from Bradford. The rest of the students would do the common entrance, to walk to the school here to do common entrance. Luckily for us, we were given a ride. Somebody from truck stop and pick us up. Otherwise, we'd have to walk the 8 miles to Lapland to see our common entrance. One thing I've learned about life is that you tackle the challenges that come your way. You don't bend, you don't bow, you don't give up. At least they have said, well, no transport, I think I will pass on the next year, But we persevere and they're here tonight. And also, I was very much impressed with our plane because for the March 19 protest, the village that had the most number of arrestees is our plane. So you have an honor that, having the most people arrested from a single village in the history of Dominica. As you know, we were arrested for, as the government says, righteous behavior, when we're simply asking for rights as Dominicans to ensure that we have electoral reform. That's what it is. That's what the struggle is about. It's about electoral reform. And for good reason. Because Dominica is at a stage now where we absolutely need change in this country. I'm not sure you hear me. We need change in this country. We need to get rid of this democratic government. No last city. I think no last city spirit. Il a fait assez. Il a détruit assez de monde à donner, assez de jeunes qui pas ni pièce, chance à la vie. Ici, on a toute chance. Jeunes monde. Et puis, la majorité de jeunes monde qui a quitté Dominique, comme si les Dominiques c'était en vieille maladie. And that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, we look at starting Team Dominica through its 10 pillars to ensure that the young people of Dominica stay in Dominica to build this country. And even when they leave to go overseas, they will come back to Dominica to ensure that they're able to build this country. And so, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to introduce you, if you've not already heard it, the 10 pillars. I understand that they're going crazy over the 10 pillars. For the first time, I hear the Prime Minister talking about the jobs, 4,000 jobs in 3 years. I had to laugh. The man has been in office for 25 years. 25 years of Labour Party government. And now we're talking about jobs. He's talking about jobs because we have been talking about it in our 10 years. Talking about the minimum wage. It says, oh, we're going to change the minimum wage in October, but they're not telling you where they're going to bring it to, how much they're going to change it by. He's not saying what he's going to do. Just make it because they don't know the minimum wage. But what he's not saying is that if you're going to change the minimum wage, you need good legislation to support the minimum wage. So he did not say that because he does not know that. You know, and so we have a government that is trying to copy from us because we have put forward a plan that the people of Dominica are excited about, the 10 pillars, and it is making a lot of sense to many Dominicans. And so tonight, I'm spending a little time talking about those 10 pillars, and I think they're very important because that is the blueprint. This is the plan that we have for the future development of our country. And tonight I'm very happy because we have with us some young kids. Probably 10, 7, 8 years old, 6 years old, young kids in us tonight. And I'm very happy to see that. Because what we're doing tonight is to lay the basis and the foundation for these young children who are coming up. Our future generation will get the opportunities that this generation did not really get because of really bad governance by this administration. And so tonight, I want to bring this to you, but let me just say a big thank you to the people of La Plane. We had a wonderful time today as we went around La Plane. You know, what struck me is how beautiful this village is. You know, La Plane is a beautiful village. And it is unfortunate to see that there was so much potential to just lying there. I see the abandoned fields. I see the homes are closed because people are migrated. But the land is there, just waiting for our agricultural promise, just waiting for a United Workers' Party team Dominica to bring back the glory years. In fact, somebody mentioned today that in 1 year, during the United Workers' Party government, 24 brand new vehicles came into that plane. 20 brand new. Can you imagine that? We were there before. And if you look at what's happening now, because the government has simply ignored agriculture. They have talked about agriculture as being an has-been industry. They have said our young people will not go into agriculture. But who says that? Who says our young people will not go into agriculture? We just started a few weeks ago, I just checked it's actually 11 weeks now. We have been buying ashim to send to Guadeloupe. And young people are calling to say, is it very true that they are market for that shade because I want to start planting that shade? Who said well, young people want to go back to agriculture? One of the things I noticed as we walked around, I saw the fields of plantain that are just there. The plantains are ripening and rotting. And this is painful. This is painful. To see that food that the rest of the world wants, it's just a wasted energy. It's erupting. A lot. And then one gentleman told me he has 2 acres. 2 acres of plantain, just like it. No markets. Every now and then, government, they play the battery, they come around, Texas comes around, and they probably all like 31 trees from everybody. Well, what is that going to do? So we are starting our discussion with the people in Martinique. One of the big issues we have in Martinique is transportation. A few years ago, myself and Daniel Louis, who is there, we were able to go around Dominica. It's a very big export of vegetables and other stuff, about 20 different products into Martinique. It lasted for about 6 months, and I had to leave to go overseas. And the government, actually, they went in there and tried to mess things up. I thought when I had left, they would continue. As soon as I left, they stopped. And in 6 months, we brought over $600,000 into Dominica for just a little activity in Martinique. And so we are working to restart that because we believe that the first thing we do is that we take care of our people. Dominica is by far and large a farming country. It's an agricultural country. That's what we have. We don't have white sand beaches. We don't have oil. We don't have gold or diamonds, but we do have good agricultural lands. Yes. That's what they're blessed with. And that's the reason why we will ensure that as we move forward, we are going to establish agriculture as one of our main pillars. So we are talking about establishing agriculture, water, and manufacturing sectors. And the reason why we join these together is because we see the importance of ensuring that manufacturing is joined to agriculture. So not only are we going to be working the banana fields, the plantains, and so on, but we're going to ensure that we have a manufacturing product to complement the agriculture. So at the end of the day, we will be building factories throughout Dominica that will process our raw material, because we are not simply going to go to agriculture and export all of our raw material. We want to ensure that we add value. So we convert the cassava to flour, we convert the breadfruits to chips and other snacks. And I was surprised, I didn't realize that there was so much breadfruit. I thought breadfruit was only in America. I was surprised with the huge breadfruit trees. And now we have the very short ones that bear all year round, that we're going to invest in it, so you don't have to get a pot to prick, bread and have it get less bread for now. We'll be able to just keep care of our breadfruit. But we have a plan for agriculture that will totally transform the sector, and we'll be ensuring that this is combined with manufacturing. Manufacturing, not only of our agricultural products, but our essential ones. And notice as well, practically every other few feet you walk in our plane, there you have the beef. Beef, yeah, do dairy. And dairy is a very expensive commodity and something that we absolutely have to invest in. But not only that, we can really extract the oil, but use the oils. Why can we have an essential oils industry in America? We have the raw material. We will not just send our beer from overseas, we'll be able to convert it to perfumes, to mouthwashes, to aftershave, to freshness. We have lemongrass. Last time I spoke, I talked about lemongrass a couple of weeks ago. And as we enter the plane, we take the scent of lemongrass. I was like, where did that come from? So I asked the steward, she says, yeah, here's the spray. It's the lemongrass spray that they use it to keep the aircraft fresh and nice and set, and it's wonderful fragrance. We have lemongrass and cut up and thrown aside every single day. We have the raw materials there in Dominica to do all of these things. And it's not rocket science. And so we are committed as one of our 10 pillars to establish agriculture, water, and manufacturing sector. And of course, water. The amount of water that is going to waste is. So I'm wondering, what is wrong with this government? We've had a government for 25 years, and we've not been able to have not even a little water factory that we can drink our own water in a bottle.
We actually have a water.
We can drink our water, and that's the problem. Yes, we have tropical water, but I'm talking about spring water. I'm talking about why I'm not exporting cold water to the different islands up north that are dry, just waiting for water from Dominica. And so that's will be one of our pillars. Importantly as well, we look into, as another pillar, renewable energy development. renewable energy development. We will harness our energy potential of hydro, solar, wind, and geothermal so that we can reduce the cost of electricity, but more importantly, as we reduce the cost of electricity, we'll be able to attract companies into Dominica that uses power, that has a high demand for energy. And that includes, by the way, artificial intelligence. There are companies looking to set up artificial intelligence data centers. They all love AI and all the wonderful things that AI is doing. But AI consumes a lot of power, of energy. So if you have cheap energy, you can actually attract companies to set up data centers in your country, create jobs for people. So the goal of having renewable energy is one, to ensure that we pay much lower prices. Already, the cost to Dublin is too high. How many of you are putting $100 and before you know it, you get a disconnect notice? And they're ready to disconnect you before you even, really run out of money. We all know the difficulty that we're having with those high bills because we are using imported fuel to generate electricity. We can do better. And even when the government decided to go into geothermal, they're building a little plant, a little 10 megawatts that can barely take care of Dominica. When they should be thinking of putting in place enough, because we have enough. We have 9 active volcanoes in Dominica. So we can get that to have enough capacity to supply to the neighboring countries. That is what we need to do. That is the way that we need to proceed. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue, let me talk about some more of our pillars. Another very important pillar, and one which we are extremely proud about, is economic empowerment through fair wages and salaries. And that's very important, because if you're a public servant here in Latvia, you know that you've been working, some of you for 10, 15 years without a salary increase. Can you imagine having the same salary today that you had 10 years ago, when inflation has gone up by more than 50% over that year? So it means if you were getting $2,000 10 years ago, and you're getting that same $2,000 in terms of value, it is now $200,400. $600 is not of that value. And that explains why when you go into WeChange or wherever you go to buy your groceries, instead of coming up with 3 bags for $300, you're not coming up with a bag and a half or bag and a quarter. You stated the shrinking size of your shopping bags. Because you're spending the same amount where you get less. Because prices have been going up, but your salary has been stuck. How can a government be so cruel to its people? How can the government look at its public workers, those hard government workers, hard working teachers? Think of your teacher in high school and your teacher in primary school, how committed and dedicated they are. Think of the nurses that you encounter when you go to the hospital and how committed they are. Think of the good police officers that you meet, that investigate and do the hard work, spend the sleepless nights. And at the end of the day, they cannot get any increase from the government. But that same government is able to give itself a 30% increase. I mean, when you have nothing for your workers, but you're going to give yourself 30%. Well, at least I'm going to share now. Instead of taking 30%, take 3% and share the 27% among even a half percent they get. And you can extra $20 a month, they can do something with it. Don't take all to yourself. That's what they did. They paid themselves a 30% increase after already having the highest salaries in the country. So they have the highest salaries, 18 workforce ministers, but you don't need 18 ministers. And by the way, the United Workers' Party team Dominica will have a much smaller cabinet of no more than 10 ministers. And that's where we save thousands and thousands of dollars to the Dominican public. Also, your Prime Minister will not be living no 64,000 monthly dollars. I find this to be abominable. I know it's a big word, and you know what that would mean. It's abominable. That the Prime Minister, who is making $12,000 a month, can live on the backs of taxpayer dollars and taxpayers, hard-working Dominicans, and take 64,000 just for a place to live in, just for a house. 64,000. I didn't know how to go renting for that money. I mean, how do you find a house rent for $64,000? For a house? For you and your wife and 2 children? And Dominicans here say that this is okay, and we really believe that this man cares about us. And we believe, they say, you know, this is like cares. He cares. Yeah, he cares about his pockets. He cares about living the life of the high life. $64,000. A public servant, the average public servant, from about the 3,500 public servants, the average public servant has to work 5 years. 5 years. You have to get up, go to work, come back, get up, go to work, come back. Month after month after month for 60 months to make the amount your Prime Minister is taking from you for 1 month to live. How can that be right? How can that be justified? How can that be justified? And so our appeal is to ensure that it is fair and that is equitable. And that's the reason why we're talking about shared prosperity for all Dominicans. We're not going to create 2 classes of Dominicans. One that are living high and mighty. The amount they spend on dog food is more than you have as your paycheck. The amount they spend on dog food for a day exceeds what you take home at the end of the month. We are not going to create that society in Dominica. We want a society where there will be shared prosperity for all Dominicans. And the way we do this is to ensure that the salaries are fair. And that's the reason why we are talking about offering increases in salaries for our public servants. So the Prime Minister will be talking about that. And he put it in his budget. Well, not the first time. He put it in the budget last year. It was in the budget last year. And he still got 0. This time he moved from 6 over 3 years to 8% over 8% over 3 years. Well, the average worker get an extra $25 a month. So you have all what you can do with $25. You can buy a car, you can rent a new house, you can buy new furniture. That's what it amounts to. $25 extra for the average public servant. That is what is being offered to you. That will have 0 impact on your livelihood. It means that people will continue to struggle. And as I go across Dominica, I meet countless and hundreds of Dominicans who complain. Not because they want to complain to me. They complain because they are truly hurting. They are not able to make ends meet in this Commonwealth of Dominica. Rent is a struggle to pay. Paying for his children's education is a struggle. Buying books to send their kids to school. I remember probably a year or so ago, a year and a half ago, I was talking to a principal, and she said that one morning one of the young boys fainted, or he just passed out. And they were very concerned because he was about 12 years old, passed out during early morning. So they took him to the hospital. So after he was revived, the nurse asked him, because they suspected something wrong, I said, when last did you have something to eat? He said the last time he ate was when he got breakfast at school the previous day. So we have people like that in Dominica today. We have young children going to school, hungry because they have no dinner, they have no lunch, their parents can't afford it. And they go to class, they depend. Luckily, that school had a little feeding program, so you could get something to eat, but even then it's not enough to pass on. And so we have people who are really struggling in this country. And yet we have a government that's behaving as if they can take all of your money, take all of your taxes, jack up taxes on you, try to bring on a barrier from overseas and you'll see. They will charge you for this. Yeah, I said a lot. They charge a lot for this. Try to bring a car. If you feel we make it easier for you in this budget, they're jacking up the fees from 3,000 to 4,000, even 10,000. So whereas before, if you buy a car for 1,000, and TC has the numbers and he did it very well, I wish I could remember them, I would have been able to tell the public. But if you have a car, say, for 1,005 US, you buy it from Japan. And the time you finish TC, what do you pay? 43,000? About 43,000. 35,000. So you go online, you say, nice car you like, and I think around 4,005. If you use 1,005 US, okay, that's what you pay. 1,005. By the time you finish, by the time government finish with you, put it that way, you're paying $43,000. How is that justified? How is that justifiable? How can you justify this? And that's a government, by the way, that had how much amount of money and how much revenues. They could have used those revenues to even ease up on the government public. But no, you only did what you are. Zero, you got zero. Boy, I tell you. And so, another of our pillars is tax reform. We absolutely have to overhaul our tax system, revise our VAT rates downwards, and remove those suffocating import duties. We'll provide duty-free incentives to build homes and businesses and reduce the tax burden on our people. And I think, it's amazing how God does work sometimes. Usually, when I talk about this, I compare us to St. Lucia. I say St. Lucia is so much cheaper. Today, we are walking around in our place, and I saw your lady. So we started talking to her lady also, and she says, oh, but she's not from here, and so on. Says she's from St. Lucia. She said, well, I want to go back. This place is too expensive. She said, St. Lucia is so much cheaper than Dominica. I said, here it is. You come right here and play to remind me of that. So to make sure tonight, I remind you that Dominica is way more expensive than St. Lucia. And why is that so? It's because of those tax rates. The government of Dominica is imposing those tax rates on you. VAT of 50%, I believe, in St. Lucia is 30%. In Antigua, there are no income taxes. So you don't pay income tax. In Dominica, you pay income tax, you pay sales tax, you pay VAT, you pay imports, you pay excise, you live it, you pay environmental levy, just tax after tax after tax after tax. So we overhaul the tax system to ensure that the people of Dominica get relief from those high taxes. You get the ease of that. So you have some money to spend, you can go on a holiday. You know, you can do something for yourself, buy something nice for yourself or for your family. And because our plan is as a government that every Dominican will live in dignity and will be able to provide for their families. Another pillar, healthcare. Our healthcare is about the worst in Dominica. It's about words, and if you ever have any family member who's had the disadvantage, I put that way, or who've been to go to that hospital, that thing up there on the hill, you have to pray. Many people who really should have made out do not. The level of healthcare is terrible. So we have to rebuild our healthcare system. And we'll be able to do this because we understand, importantly, not only should we have good healthcare for Dominicans living in Dominica, but for the hundreds and thousands of Dominicans who want to come back to Dominica, we need to ensure that there is a healthcare system that they can be proud of and that they can retain. And then there is the question of youth opportunity and retention. Another pillar is to ensure that we can keep our young people in Dominica. And we do that by ensuring that we have entrepreneurship, we have innovation, we use the skills of our young people. They're able to create the apps, use artificial intelligence, use the internet to make money for themselves and for our country. We will restore the dreams of the young people of this country because we believe deeply in ensuring that our young people remain here and prosper. Then there's the question of infrastructure for building resilient communities. We want to ensure that we rebuild the feeder roads. We open up new lands for farming and for commercial activities. It is very important that we have a proper waste management system. I know some of you are here from overseas, but you must have heard that there was a garbage, that there is a garbage problem. I understand that when you arrive, you may have seen a very clean lap. Because I got a picture of some 6 garbage trucks picking up garbage in that place. All right before the reunion started. And it still was okay. So you can imagine. And it is breaking news in Dominica when the Prime Minister is able to secure 2 garbage trucks. Breaking news. I mean, are we a real country? Sometimes you wonder. A government, after people have died from leptospirosis, after rats the size of money who will run around the place, after a filthy country, we've seen the piles and piles of garbage that has been going on for months and months and months, and after all the pressure on the government, they buy 2 garbage trucks and suddenly that's breaking news. The Prime Minister is proud to announce that he has purchased 2 garbage trucks to clean up Dominica. Something's wrong with us. I mean, how shameful is that? You should even mention that. But it took you so long. And it's still not enough. But on this pillar of the Unionist Party, Team Dominica will ensure that we have a proper waste management system and will preserve the uniqueness of Dominica as a nature island of the world. That is very important. Then there's the question of social equity and inclusion. And I will spend just a little time on this because that is something that impacts a number of families across Dominica. The government of Dominica has been giving elderly people some $300 in total. But even then, they're not giving to everybody. Some people have been turned down because they did not support the government. $300. But by using this $300, they've been able to have a number of people, and they're telling people that when we take over as a government, we will do away with this. They have said, no, we're not going to do away with social programs, but we'll do it in a way that is dignified, in a way that you do not have to declare which political party you support to get assistance from government. It will be handled by an independent social welfare division that is well staffed with social workers. People will go out there, do the work, find out who is in need, and ensure that they're well taken care of. This is what we plan to do. And no parent going to be sending you for $300. We'll go away with that. Because we believe that as we build the country, we have to do so with compassion. We have to do so to ensure that it is equitable and that you do not qualify on the basis of which party you support. So we giving you the assurance tonight, ladies and gentlemen, that our elderly, those who have lived in Dominica all their lives and who have been there with us in their last years of their lives, will be cared for and cherished. This is a promise that we gave to the people of Dominica. And we'll ensure that our welfare system that takes care of those, not only the elderly, but those who might fall hard times and those who need the support. And for those of you who are visiting, I don't know if you've been to Rome too, and you've seen the number of young people. There is a term that they call, I don't call human beings by those names. These are our brothers, our fathers, our sons, many that are walking the streets of Roseau, destitute. Some of them out of their minds because we do not have a health system that can take care of them. And so they fall on hard times in this Dominica, and every day, I swear, there is a new face. It is painful to see. Even when we had 80,000 people, you could not find this number of young men on the streets of Roseau. Now we have probably 55, 60,000. And you have a huge increase in these young brothers on the street. And so we have to care about these young people. We have to ensure that we take care of them. And let me just talk about finally governance. We have a government that is corrupt, a government that still cannot account for billions of CBI dollars, a government that looks after itself and others, and have told us clearly that if you're not red, you're dead, or better red than dead. A government that has shown that they do not care about the people of Dominica. We had a prime minister who insulted the people's intelligence, who talked about none of your damn business. Can you imagine? A government that you elect, you're asking legitimate questions of this government, and they're saying this is none of your damn business. Go to hell, go to hell, go to hell. I mean, that's Dominica. That's Dominica for you. So no more talking to people that way. We understand that when we get into office, it will be because the people of Dominica vote us in office. And that's the reason why as we go through the various villages, we are very happy to hear of the support of the people of Dominica. The people of Dominica tell us that they're tired of the Labour Party, they're tired of scary and antics, they're tired of hearing about the $64,000 house, they're tired of hearing about the missing billions of dollars, they're tired of hearing about everything that's going on in this government that is not benefiting the people of Dominica. And so, we give you our pledge tonight that the United Workers' Party Team Dominica will be a responsible government that is answerable to the people of this country. And we will always and forever treat the people of Dominica with dignity and respect. Fellow Dominicans, people of Plane and Utica and River Civic and all the areas of Dominica, those of you looking online, these 10 pillars are not mere promises. These are our solid commitment to you, the people of Dominica, that is grounded in faith and action. These pillars represent a vision of shared prosperity where no one is left behind and every citizen can thrive and live a good life in this country. Indeed, the time for collective prosperity is knocking at our doors, and we can do something about it. And that's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, as I close tonight on this, and we open up your questions, I want to ask you, the next time elections are called, and who knows when the next time is? We're hearing the next time is December, we're hearing the next time is February. The next time really should be 9th, 2028. But we have a government that's obviously frightened. But the pastor side there. The pastor, maybe they slowly, if really or what, election. I'm not sure what's going on. But you think that when you give a government 5 years, they spend those 5 years building the country and doing something. But all we hear about is the next election, the next election. Next time people does anybody know anything except Kisa really is scary things. I mean, that is something that folks are. If you do so well and people are coming, do the thing right. When you want to get people of Black Plane to come down in numbers to vote. And for those of you that ask for Black Plane, I want to talk to you. In 2019, over 220 of you came down to vote against the Workers' Party. Don't do that again. Don't do that to your fellow villagers. Targeting measles and you come down for your reunion, you say the way the people live. You still the rotten fruits. You still the state of the village as you left is worse than when you left. Don't come down and vote a government on the backs of the people of government. Please. People of Dominica, those of us that live here in Dominica, decide which government that we want to be in charge of our affairs. And when that is done, I can guarantee you that this will be the Dominicans voting for those 10 pillars. Because that offers hope, that offers prosperity, that offers a different and better Dominica, one that we have not seen under this democratic government, but one which is promised to you. So thank you for listening. God bless you. And we are ready to questions here at the head table. And so you're welcome to ask your questions. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
very, very carefully. I have a question for you, sir. With respect to you, sir. Dr. Fountain, what's your intention to do when you will be in power for the farmers in the Southeast? Let him tell us.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I will tell you what we plan to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So agriculture is the most important pillar that we have. Okay. We are going to ensure that we bring back agriculture. It's going to be a combination of bananas, of plantains, of citrus. But in addition to that, we're going to make sure that the farmers have the markets, one, that they require, and secondly, they're able to sell even within the country because there is a factory set up to buy the produce from the farmers. So we have the farmers very high. Myself, I am the child of a farmer. I know what farming can do for you. My parents sent 11 of us to a high school on a little piece of land that they found. 11 of us, and at that time, we had to go to Roseau and we had to be renting and so on. I don't know how they got to this day, but they did it. And it's because of the money that they made from agriculture. So I have a personal, deep, and profound understanding of how critical bananas is. I remember years when I was a teacher at the academy, for example, and we had some teachers leave the teaching profession to go into bananas. Because once you make 1,500, 2,000 in teaching, they could make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month in bananas. That happened. We will get to that place again when the farmers of Dominica can once again buy their pickup like fresh. They can once again buy their pickup like fresh. We're going to get to that point again because there is money to be made in agriculture, and especially when you add that value added to that, there is even more money to be made. So that's the promise that we have for the people and the farmers.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Yes, Dr. Thompson.
Yes, we'll after that we'll take you up there. So we'll take more for that. Yes, one next.
Okay, good night to everyone present this evening. My question is that I would like to ask Mr. Fontaine, see to that when you are getting to power, legislation was passed in cabinet to see that the power of the totally office. Not more because when you remain too long, you do what you want. God bless everyone.
Yes, good evening to all. Dr. Thompson, I understand that in all elections taking place in Dominica now, there is some planes and stuff with escorts coming down. Is there any reason Mexico or any reason that could stop those things to be happening?
All right, let me respond to those two questions. Let me take the first one first. You said 2 terms for the party, but I think that 2 terms for the prime minister. Right, 2 terms for the prime minister. that is something that those family has put forward before, and will continue to put forward to ensure that no matter how good you are after 10 years, you should go. Give somebody else a chance. You know, new thinking, fresh thinking. Okay. So I can promise you now, I will not be in office for more than 10 years. Okay. Because I think that's very important to allow you people to come in, to allow you to think, you know, and you don't have all the answers. And especially if you don't have the answers, and you're having there 15, 20 years, why? Why are you punishing us to that extent? Okay, so that we promise to do, and we will do in ensuring that we have this continuity in government. And then with regards to stopping the last one, that's a kind of a difficult one, because we don't want the last one to feel that they don't have a part to play in the elections process now. There is a place for them. What we've always talked about is a level playing field, in the sense that every Dominican who qualifies should be able to get a chance if they want to. Okay? In other countries, some people talk, for example, about the United States and so on, but what they do, they ensure that people vote wherever they are. So everybody in that country, so when only people from the US living in Dominica have equal chance to vote. They don't bring who they want to vote for that, which is what they're talking about, that is wrong. Okay? So when government goes overseas and bring people that support them to vote, that is wrong. If you want to go vice president to vote, find a way to do it where everybody living in St. Thomas who qualifies and wants to vote will be able to vote. That is what fairness is. That is what is called for in our Constitution. Alright, so we have, what we have done is that we have pushed for electoral reform. And part of the reforms that we hope is happening now at the school side is the confirmation. We want it complete re-registration. The government went for confirmation, so we respect the laws of government. It's now confirmation. It means that everybody who is on that list cannot confirm that their name. It has to be done here in Dominica. So we are hoping that with that will get rid of a large number of persons who otherwise will qualify on the list. Okay, so that's what we continue to have to push and then call upon government to do the right thing. And the people of Dominica has to stand and say, yeah, if you qualify and you live overseas, you want to vote, you should have a contract. It should not be that you're bribed. It should not be that you're given a ticket and $1,000 to come to Dominica. Because we have been better, we have been part of it. This government has been doing that since the 2005 elections, and see what's happening. All right, we are going nowhere, and that is something that we absolutely have to do.
Okay, I have 2 more questions from the gentleman.
When you are, yes, what you do, can you tell me what time you can release yourself to give somebody else the leadership? Yeah, I didn't know what because as I was saying, Sierra is somebody else the leadership.
My first question, the election called tomorrow. As we all know, we have a crazy, evil government. So if the election called tomorrow, do you have all 21
candidate. And who is our potential candidate for that way? That's one. Number two, you said about on the 1st of September, there will be an opening for registration, voters registration. Am I right, sir?
Yes, correct.
Confirmation. Now, during the period of night and up to the 1st of September, what are the mechanisms you have for people of the Southeast? I think it will grant for, well, Dominican on the whole, but looking for that number one. What personnel do you have in place to go house to house, street to street, corner to corner, to try to convince our young men and women to get registered as soon as possible? Thank you, and have a good night.
Do we have anybody else? Anybody? You just want to close up?
Okay, so let me respond to your question. Thank you very much. I think the first question I quickly met, it was a direct question. The fact is not to let me deal with the question of the confirmation. We expect to start on the 1st of September. And we have in each of the constituencies, we have our constituency association. So, for example, in Plane, the president is here, Jack Simo, and he has a full complement of members, Ron, and Jennifer, and others. Moses, yes, they're all members. So, their task, we are tasking them, the constituency association will be the ones to ensure that every single person gets registered or confirmed. So that is their task. Now, what we don't know as yet is what type of ID will be used, because the legislation is not indicate what should be used as ID. The electoral office has to clarify that and will tell us whether you require a driver's license, or a security card, or just an affidavit as we do for registration. Okay?
I don't mind. Yeah, so as you mentioned, something fit my mind. What about people like the village of Blackburn, who is done the exist? But many of us, when I say us, I generalize, many of us does not have what called a social security card, a driver's license, or any or not of the above. What's going to happen?
Right, so that's an excellent question as well. And that's the reason why we hope that the electoral office will use the same means by which you register. Because when you register for the first time, all they require is a book, paper, and somebody to sign that they know you as a person. So we are hoping that same process will be employed for the confirmation process. If not, then people will have to see how presidents these persons to get, whether it's a social security card or whatever else that is required. But we're hoping that they do the right thing and do it, because there's not a person, as I said, who do not have passports or that type of security, but who absolutely need to get registered. That's one. The second question has to do with whether we have our candidates in place. We are, if the election is going to be called tomorrow, to give us a map, we do have potentially 21 candidates. For every single constituency, we have potential candidates. Okay? We do. What we have not for the last constituency, we are not yet named those candidates. Part of it has to do with some of those candidates are voting the government. And if you were to declare a candidate now, they fear for their employment, they fear for, because that has happened before. We've had situations where, because the government is so much in control, or want to be in control, they have victimized potential candidates. So we want to ensure that that does not happen. But of course, once it rings, then they'll have to come in the open. Okay, but where we are able to name persons because they're independent, they're dependent upon government, then we will do so. And in the coming weeks will be hearing one more of our candidates in the house.
Can Mr. Ron come up, sir?
Sorry?
Mr. Ron will come up. We can go to one question because we have time. Yeah.
Yes, I just wanted to little expand on what political means. I'm the international secretary for the party of the Thomas. One of the things that I would recommend for the association is to try to set up a centralized location where people can go in and they will know that there is a place where they can go to get information to their register or reconfirm. Having that will help people, will basically the association can use that as a means of ensuring that people know where to go and that they know, for example, okay, at this person's house, they can go there on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and that person will be able to help them along. Another thing that we're hoping is in the legislation is also that there's a process where you can get a ping pong picture, take it to the justice of the peace, and they can give you a letter that certifies that you are that person. And if you don't have a driver's license, social security number, card, or a passport, that can also suffice to get you identified to reconfirm. So we're hoping also when the legislation is amended, that will be part of the ID requirement. So just that I'll put that forward also.
Let's do one more question.
Can I say something? Yes, sir. That's last question. Thank you.
Your meeting is based on the 10 pillars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that have to do with food, water, and geothermal electrical stuff. Okay, so what I observe with the people there is like they're more into like they're fearful of the other government and they win in the next election. Am I right? So now, what we can do to really solve that problem for them not winning the next election is like we have issues, right? Okay, we have issues. So now, I guess we should like stick to the basics, like health, the water pipes and stuff, so we can actually stand and fight for that. And trying to like steer the government right now into what we really want. You know, think less about getting diasporas coming out overseas to vote for the other party. I think that is bullshit, I guess. But we need to like stand together as a people and as a unit, you know, try to strengthen each other based on what we really want, because most of the diasporas are living off of what the people in that country fighting for. They're fighting for democracy and stuff. What are we fighting for? What do we really want? You know, we want democracy, we want to develop our country. What do we want? We want to use our resources to better ourselves. So we have to think of that. So if we can, like, you know, stay focused on that part of it, then we can create a better Dominica and create a better livelihood for young people. And then because if we just focus on government and stuff like that, we have Labour Party doing whatever, and we have our young people to check. We don't check agriculture anymore because we don't see much bananas, we don't have much oranges. That's enough for you.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to go. I want to say thank you to all of you.
thanks for your questions and thanks for the comments. Let me just say, by the way, we have with us some, you can get a ticket for the raffle for the gentleman right there. We're raffling a lower bus, and that's to help the party, you know, do the outreach, go out there in different villages and talk to the people. So that will be very helpful for us. In fact, I'm seeing the person who won the very first time is here in this room. Yeah. So, laughing at the lucky again to get it this time. So, please support it. Let me say thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Good evening to everybody. People of Black and Sorobin and the world. When I see the vacation, it's vacation. When I saw the amount of people that was in Napoli, it blessed me. I was excited, but it's really okay. 3/4 Black people went. And 75% of people that came back is people that live under the Labour Party. 75% of people that left and come back on the ground is people that left under the Labour Party. So it's very painful. And when you interact with them, what they tell you, we have two jobs for true, but we're plenty better. We're plenty better than all that in Africa. You know, because it's very painful. So what we say, we need people to understand we are the wars and what we become. Totally different. Totally different. It's very painful. Black and empty. When I watch that this afternoon there, most houses closed. Only probably 3 hours after the day or and there are hundreds of people there. I just it's very painful. So we have to do something. But on the behalf of the Black Conspiracy, I say to our community to say thank you to Mr. Monday. Very, very, very good plan for the Black Leader. Very good plan for the leader. And they have to appreciate that and welcome it. So when you thank you, Mr. Monday, all your companies, thank you so much and welcome to Lapley and do come back because we're waiting for you. Lapley people ready to make that change. No matter if you see the problem is there. But Lapley people to make up their mind. We make up our mind. There's nobody going to happen now. Believe me. So thank you very much.
Take out the girl.